Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. I am writing names on the birthday list when Mia speaks. Her voice is flat and sharp enough to stop my pen. I am Mark and I am 38 and my hand actually jerks. She leans over the table and taps one name twice. Do not invite Jenna to my party. She does not shout, which somehow feels louder than yelling. At that moment, I honestly think she is just being dramatic. I smile like an idiot and ask if this is a joke. Mia crosses her arms and looks right through me. Do I look like I am kidding right now? My throat feels tight and suddenly the list does not seem cute anymore. You know that warning feeling when the air gets heavy before a storm? I ask her why, because I need some reason I can fix. She shrugs first, then she laughs once like she is tired. I do not want her there and that should be enough. If she comes, I stay home and you can celebrate without me. It hits me that she is not bargaining, she is drawing a line. Mia is 13 and somehow she sounds older than I do. You love Jenna, I start, and my voice comes out weak. She flinches when I say love like the word itself hurts. Stop calling it love when you never ask me what I want. Her eyes shine and she bites down hard on her lip. You decided she is family and now I have to smile around her. I feel my face heat up because she is not completely wrong. My phone buzzes on the table and we both glance at it. Jenna just texted that she is leaving work early to help decorate. Mia sees the preview and her mouth twists like she might be sick. So you invited her already and you were just pretending to ask me. I tell her it is Jenna's house too and she should be part of it. Even while I speak, I know that sounds like something from a brochure. Mia laughs again, this time there is no humor anywhere in it. You keep choosing her first and then you act surprised when I notice. Back then I still told myself she was exaggerating and just testing limits. Now while I write this, I can hear how clear she was. That line about choosing hit me like a slow punch I refused to dodge. I changed the subject instead because facing it felt worse than lying. What if Jenna comes for cake only and then leaves early? Mia shakes her head before I even finish and she steps back. You are not listening and you never listen when it is about her. I want one day that is mine without your wife performing for everyone. The front door clicks open and Jenna calls out that she is home. Mia stiffens like someone just turned on a bright spotlight inside the room. I should tell Jenna to wait outside or stall her somehow, but I freeze. Mia whispers, "Remember what I said," and then Jenna walks into the doorway. She takes in our faces and the silent guest list on the table. Okay, what did I miss? Because you both look like someone died. Mia opens her mouth, closes it again, then pushes the paper toward her. My chest pounds so hard I feel it in my teeth while I wait. Jenna spots her name and the thick line Mia dragged across it. She looks up slowly and her smile vanishes like someone flipped a switch. What is this supposed to mean? Because it really better be a joke. Mia answers before I can breathe and throws the words like a punch. It means you are not invited and I do not want you there. Jenna reels back like the floor tilted and she grabs the edge hard. You cannot talk to me like that in my own house. Mia laughs again and says it is your marriage, not mine anyway. That line slices right through me and I finally step between them. Everybody calm down and we can talk like normal people. Mia backs away from me like I picked a corner already and it hurts. You are supposed to choose me this time, yet you keep standing with her. There it was laid out in one sentence I still hear in my sleep. I muttered something weak about loving both of them and nobody believed it. Later that night I would stare at this memory and ask strangers online to judge me. In that moment though, I just stood there and watched my family crack open. I shut the office door harder than I mean to. The old desk chair squeaks as I drop into it and wake the laptop. Reddit is already open from some lunch break doom scrolling. My hands hover over the keyboard while my pulse climbs. I click into the advice forum and hit the big red button. New post box pops up and that blank space suddenly feels hostile. Title field blinks at me like it wants the real story. I type, then erase, then type again until my jaw aches. New update, I write, my daughter wants her stepmom uninvited from her birthday. It looks messy and heavy, but also exactly what happened. For a second I almost soften it with some joke. Instead, I leave it raw and head down to the body. My first line comes out almost word for word. My teenager told me today she does not want my wife at her party. I stop there because it sounds cold seeing it in black and white. The sentence just sits there like evidence on a screen. I add the basics of the argument and trim anything extra. No flowery stuff, no dramatic flourishes, just who refused what. Every time I start to explain more, I feel myself justifying. So I strip it back until it reads like a police report. Then I write a sentence that actually makes my stomach clench. I started dating my current partner soon after my previous marriage ended. I stare at the word soon until it looks fake. My fingers itch to fix that timeline and my ears burn. I backspace the entire line before I can overthink it. Nobody needs that part, I tell myself. It will only distract people. This is about a party, about manners, about a stubborn kid. I tell myself that twice even though my chest knows better. I angle the story so I look reasonable and patient. I mention that my wife helps around the house and tries hard. I describe my daughter as distant lately, without using words like furious. Reading it back, I sound like a calm guy under siege. The cursor sits on post and my finger shakes. Once this goes up, there is no sucking it back in. Strangers are going to walk through my living room with muddy boots. I hit submit anyway because I want somebody to say I am right. The comments start rolling in before I even stand. First ones are simple questions about custody and how often she visits. I answer fast, clipped, trying to sound neutral and collected. Each little reply feels like I am testifying under oath. Then a longer response appears and grabs my eye. The user breaks everything into bullet points and numbers my choices. They ask if my wife lived with me before the ink dried. My throat tightens because nobody in that thread mentioned cheating. I type out no, then delete it and stare. I write the relationship started near the end, but after separation paperwork. Even as I send it, I know that sentence is a half-truth. The reply pings back almost instantly with a single line. This reads like you're dodging something big. I swear I can feel that comment under my skin. More people pile in under it, dropping their own guesses. Words like emotional affair and homewrecker vibe appear in a stack. I scroll desperately trying to find one clean defense. Someone finally writes, "Your kid is being controlling and entitled." Relief flickers in my chest when I read that phrase. Then another user responds, "Or she is reacting to betrayal." That word sits heavier than any insult in the whole thread. I close my eyes and lean back until the chair protests. In that moment, I want to throw the laptop out. Instead, I keep scrolling like punishment, comment after comment. A soft knock hits the office door and I jump. "You hiding in here or what?" Jenna pokes her head in and smiles, then steps behind me. I angle the screen away so fast it probably looks guilty. She squeezes my shoulder and asks if I am still planning decorations. I mutter something about work emails and deadlines and boring stuff. Her hand lingers a second longer than usual, like she senses something off. When she walks out, I do not call her back. As soon as the door clicks, I refresh the page again. The post has exploded while we were standing 3 feet apart. Judgment icons flash everywhere, mostly the one that means I messed up. Under the top comment, someone writes, "Your kid sees what you pretend not to." Reading that line knocks something loose in my chest. These are strangers who only know a cleaned-up version. They still manage to hit the one spot I keep covered. I stare at the screen and realize the internet might answer louder than my own family. My phone vibrates beside me and Mia reaches it first. We are on the couch, half watching some show and barely speaking. She swipes it open without asking because she already knows the code. By the time I notice, her eyes are locked on the screen. "Why is Reddit the first thing on here?" Her voice sounds too calm, and that scares me more than yelling. I grab for the phone and she twists away, clutching it to her chest. Her thumb moves and I know exactly which post she just opened. "You wrote about us." Her eyebrows pull together as she scrolls down the mess of comments. "Did you seriously dump our entire life on strangers for votes?" I start to answer and then freeze when her gaze sharpens. "Why do they all keep talking about cheating?" She turns the display toward me and highlights one reply with her finger. "This person says there was overlap with your wife and mom." A second later, another notification pops up repeating the same suspicion. Is that why you freak out every time I visit mom? Her knee bounces fast and she cannot seem to hold still. You keep saying you two just grew apart like it just happened. Did you already pick Jenna before mom even knew you were done? I tell her no, then my throat closes around the rest. She hears that break in my voice and goes very still. Look at me and answer that again without blinking. Her eyes do not leave my face. While she waits, I try to build a safer version in my head. We were unhappy for a long time, I start, and even I hate how slippery it sounds. Mia laughs once, short and sharp, then shakes her head. That is not what I asked, and you know it. Did you kiss Jenna while you were still with mom? The room tilts a little, and my hands start to sweat. I manage a quiet yes before I can talk myself out of it. The sound lands between us like something heavy dropped on the floor. How long before? Her voice drops lower, like she already knows she will hate the answer. I try to dodge with words like complicated and almost separated. Her jaw clenches and she cuts through them like they are nothing. Give me a number, not a speech. I stare at a spot on the table and count backward. About a month, I say, and the truth finally comes out of my mouth. Everything after that happens faster than I can track. She stands up so quickly, the phone slides to the cushion. So you broke our family first and then blame timing. All that stuff about things just ending, that was a story for you. You let me think mom blew it when it was you. I tell her it was already falling apart long before that. The words sound pathetic even before they finish leaving my lips. She wipes her face with her sleeve and glares right through me. You still crossed the line and then moved the line afterward. Is Jenna the reason you keep pushing her into my life? She points toward the hallway like Jenna might appear any second. You need me to like her so you feel less guilty about what you did. That is why you are obsessed with this perfect blended picture. I start listing things Jenna does for the house and for Mia. The more I talk, the more it sounds like a sales pitch. Mia snorts and shakes her head like that proves her point. You could adopt 10 puppies and it would not erase this. So when I told you not to invite her, you already knew this part. She stares down at the phone, still glowing with my confession to the internet. You knew why I might hate her and you still posted about my attitude. You made me the villain so you could feel like the reasonable parent. I want to argue, I really do, but everything she just said hits. Back then I would have fought her on every detail until we both screamed. Now, even remembering it, I can feel how cornered she must have felt. She was fighting for a version of our life I had already wrecked. Mia picks up the phone and scrolls again with shaking hands. You told them you started dating her soon after the divorce. That is not just bending the truth, that is rewriting history. If you lie to strangers about the timeline, what chance do I have? I tell her she is right and the words scrape on the way out. I do not dress it up or attach reasons this time. Yes, I cheated on your mother with Jenna. Once I say it that plainly, there is no way to walk it back. She covers her mouth, and for a second I think she might throw up. You destroyed our home for someone I never even got to choose. And now you want her front row at my birthday like nothing happened. You want me to clap while the woman who replaced mom cuts my cake. I swear I will uninvite Jenna if that is what you want. I hear the panic in my own voice and it sounds small. We can redo everything and just have you and your friends and mom. I will handle the fallout, you will not pay for that. She looks at me like I am offering a prize long after the contest closed. It is not about a guest list anymore, you already picked a side. You chose her when you kissed her while mom still slept in this house. This party is just where I stop pretending that did not happen. Mia unlocks my phone again and opens her messages with quick motions. I ask what she is doing and she ignores me. Tell mom the truth before she hears it from someone else, she mutters, fingers flying. My chest feels hollow while I watch my kid repair the damage I caused. In that moment, I realize the post was only a symptom. The real story is standing in front of me with red eyes and shaking shoulders. I wanted the internet to tell me I was still a decent father. Instead, I got a live audience while my daughter watched the mask come off. I am tying a banner when Jenna drops the bag by the door. The zipper rattles and that sound hits me harder than it should. She does not look at the decorations, she looks straight at me. So is your daughter getting her wish or not? I let go of the tape and it snaps back against my fingers. We talked about this, I start, and the words already feel useless. Mia said she will not walk through that door if you are here. I promised her I would respect that for today. Jenna folds her arms and leans against the frame like she owns it. This is my place too, and your kid does not get veto power. Her jaw is tight and her eyes are brighter than normal. You cannot just erase me because you screwed up the timeline. I tell her it is not about erasing her. And I hate my tone. It sounds like one of those calm speeches I wrote for Reddit. Mia knows about the affair now, and everything is raw. If you show up smiling with party favors, she will shut down. She blinks once when I say affair, like she did not expect that word. So you actually told her the full thing. I nod and my throat burns when I remember the look on Mia's face. Jenna presses her fingers to her temples like this is suddenly a migraine. Does your ex know yet, or am I still the villain in secret? I tell her I called last night and stumbled through the confession. There was a long quiet, and then she thanked me for finally confirming it. Jenna lets out a short, bitter laugh that does not sound like her. Great, so now everyone hates me and you get to feel honest. She nudges the bag with her foot like she might kick it. You followed your kid's orders and threw me out of my own life. Also, you can be super dad for one afternoon. I step closer and reach for her hand, and she pulls it away. This is not permanent, and I am not choosing a side. It is one birthday where I give Mia what she asked for. We can figure out the rest once people go home. You already chose, she answers, and her voice is flat now. You picked me when you crossed that line with your marriage. Now you're picking them while we live in the fallout. I am the part you hide whenever it is convenient. I want to argue that this is not fair, but it sticks. There is a slice of truth in there I do not want to see. I picture Mia's face when she made me swear Jenna would stay away. Then I picture Jenna outside while they sing to our kid. Come for the last hour, then, I offer, my words rushing. After the cake and photos and all the parents. You can come back when everyone clears out. We can sit down with Mia another day when she is calmer. She stares at me like I just handed her a used gift card. You want me to sneak into my house after the party? Like a side guest who missed the real celebration. Do you hear yourself when you talk, or do you mute it? The worst part is I do hear it, and I still do not fix it. Instead, I start listing reasons again like I am building a case. She glances at the clock and then at the half-finished decorations. You know what, she says, I am not begging for scraps. She yanks the bag upright and grips the handle with white knuckles. If your daughter wants a day without me, she can have it. I am not going to stand here while you apologize with balloons. Text me when it is over and you decide which house you live in. Where are you going? The question jumps out faster than any apology. She shrugs and avoids my eyes as she checks her pockets. Away from here long enough for you to enjoy being the hero. The front door opens and closes behind her and the sound sticks. For a second, I expect her to come back in and say she exaggerated. The silence after that proves she meant every word. I stand there holding tape with my hands shaking over the banner. I move through the rest of the setup like I am on autopilot. Chairs get dragged into place and snacks go where they need to go. Every task feels like I am paying off a debt I built myself. By the time the doorbell rings, my shirt is damp at the collar. Mia steps inside with her friends clustered behind her. Her mother walks in next, controlled and polite, eyes sweeping the room. Mia looks around once and notices who is not here. She lets out a breath I did not realize she was holding. So you listened. Her voice is quiet but clear enough for both of us. I nod and try to smile without making it weird. Her mother watches us like she is grading every move. Thank you for telling the truth, her mother says, adjusting her bag on her shoulder. We can talk about the rest later and not in front of them. Right now I am here for our kid and that is it. There is an edge under her control that promises a storm. Kids start spilling into the living room, laughing and shoving each other. Mia's shoulders unclench as she joins them and starts directing games. I realize this is the first time in weeks I have seen her actually relaxed. She glances back once just to confirm the doorway stays empty. I hover near the snacks and answer quick questions from other parents. Every time someone asks where my wife is, my tongue stalls. She had something come up, I mumble and leave it at that. Each small lie lands on top of the pile I am already carrying. When it is time for the song, I light the candles with clumsy hands. Mia stands at the center of the crowd, grinning at her friends. Her mother slips in beside me, and we share a split-second truce. We both lean in to steady the cake as I lift it. Everyone sings, and the sound crowds the room in a weird way. Mia closes her eyes, and her face turns serious, almost older. I know exactly what she is wishing for without hearing a word. The clock in my head starts counting down to when that wish collides with reality. She blows the candles out in one strong breath and people cheer. I set the cake down, and for a moment everything feels almost normal. Then she pushes through the group and wraps her arms around me. "Please keep it like this," she whispers, with no extra meaning explained. I nod against her hair and my chest tightens with the promise. I know exactly what she means by this and who is outside it. I also know I cannot hold that shape for long without breaking something else. That knowledge sits heavy while the party keeps moving around us. My brother nudges my foot with his on the couch. "You gonna keep staring at that screen or actually type something?" I pull the laptop closer and watch the cursor blink in the text box. 2 weeks after the party, and I am still drafting the same update. I start with the simple part because it hurts less. I moved out and I am staying in my brother's living room. The house with the yard and the decorations is Jenna's right now. My suitcase sits under the coffee table like it is waiting for a verdict. My phone lights up with a calendar alert and shuts off again. Jenna and I have counseling in an hour at some neutral office. We booked it the morning after the party when it all crashed. I still do not know if the sessions are rescue work or cleanup. Brother walks toward the kitchen and glances back over his shoulder. "You gonna bail on therapy?" I tell him no too quickly even for myself. He nods once and leaves me with the question hanging in the air. On the screen, the old post about the birthday sits at the top. I scroll past my own words and straight to the recent comments. Some people ask what happened after the cake and the hug. Others tell me to let the marriage go and fix my kid first. A new reply appears while I watch and it hits hard. User says, "You wanted permission to keep everything, now you have to choose." I hate that they are right, but I do not even argue anymore. I close the laptop because I am done outsourcing my conscience. The counseling office is quiet when I walk in later. Jenna already sits there across from an empty chair with her bag beside her. Her eyes flick up when I enter and then drop to the floor again. The therapist waits between us with a notebook and a careful expression. Jenna talks first before I even sit down properly. "He left me out of his daughter's life to fix a post." I wince because it is not fair and also not entirely wrong. The therapist tilts their head toward me like it is my turn. I tell the room I lied about the timeline and tried to spin it. I talk about how I used words like complicated instead of saying I cheated. I admit I wanted everyone online to say my kid was ungrateful. It feels like grinding my own teeth while I say it out loud. "You skipped something," the therapist points out gently. "Who did you put first when the truth came out?" I know the answer, Jenna knows the answer, we both stare down. I finally say I chose my daughter that day and it broke this place. Jenna lets out a tight breath and wipes under one eye with her thumb. "You chose her now because you did not pick her then." I lean back because that sentence lands sharper than anything Reddit wrote. The therapist watches us like they are holding a glass that might drop. "Do you want this marriage or do you want space?" they ask. Not future fantasy, not what you wish you wanted, what you actually want. For a second my mouth goes dry and my hands start to sweat. I hear Mia's voice whisper, "Keep it like this," in my head. I tell them I want to be a decent father more than a husband. Jenna flinches at the word, but I keep going this time. I say I cannot drag Mia through another year of forcing smiles. If that means the relationship dies, I am not using her as glue. The therapist asks Jenna what she needs to stay. She tightens her grip on the armrest and finally looks at me. "I need him to stop acting like he tripped into this affair," she says. "I need to see him take responsibility without hiding behind his kid." She is right and it stings, but I do not push back. I tell her I made deliberate choices and then hid behind nice language. I wanted excitement and comfort, and I told myself I deserved it. I burned every line on purpose, not by accident, and dragged her with me. We leave with homework about boundaries and separate priorities. In the parking lot, we stand by our cars like coworkers after a bad meeting. She asks if I am coming back to the house tonight. For the first time, I do not look at her face for my answer. No, I say not yet, I need more time away. Not as punishment, not as some stunt, but because I keep folding. When I am there, I start bending the rules to keep everyone calm. Mia reads that, and it tells her I will sell her out again. Back at my brother's place, I dial my ex and pace the small hall. She picks up with that careful, calm voice she uses for work calls. How did the big therapy thing go? I tell her it hurt, which is probably the most honest summary. She does not jump in to comfort me, and I kind of respect that. You know, Mia is watching what you do next, she says. Every time you backpedal or sugarcoat, she notices. If you want her trust back, the words and actions both have to change. Later that evening, Mia calls while I am microwaving leftovers. I fumble the phone on speaker and lean against the counter. So you're still camped at Uncle's place? Yeah, I answer, and that simple yes feels heavier than any speech. She tells me about her school day in short pieces, then stops. I heard you went to counseling with Jenna. There is no edge in her tone this time, just curiosity and fatigue. I tell her we went and that I owned up to more than before. Did you tell them you cheated, or did you still dance around it? I swallow hard and say I used the word and did not run. She goes quiet a moment that feels longer than it probably is. Then she says, good, I was tired of carrying that secret more than you. She does not suddenly soften toward Jenna, and I do not expect that. I ask if she wants updates or if that makes it worse. She says, I want honesty, not every detail, just no more surprises. That line right there becomes the rule I keep taped in my head. Before hanging up, she clears her throat and adds one more thing. I still cannot stand your wife, so do not push her at me. But I believe you're trying now, and that matters a little. When the call drops, I stare at the dark screen a long time. I open Reddit again after that, but with a different mindset. I start a new post under the old one and let my fingers move. I write that I moved out and am doing counseling and actually listening. I admit I treated my daughter like a prop in a story about myself. The replies this time are less about judgment and more about next steps. Some tell me to leave Jenna, some tell me to cling to her. For once, I do not chase the answer that makes me look best. I just sit with the fact that whatever choice I make has to center Mia. Right now the marriage is on pause and might not restart. I am not packing my bags forever, and I am not promising a reunion. I am finally admitting out loud that my kid's stability comes first. Everything else is going to have to prove it deserves space in that picture. I close the laptop and listen to the house settle around me. This is not a cinematic ending or some grand redemption. It is me on a borrowed couch trying not to hide from my own mess. For the first time in a long time, that actually feels like a beginning.